when Jesus was performing miracles, his very close disciples and his very close crowd around him saw him heal the sick, the blind were seeing, people were walking freely from the sickness or the diseases they were carrying because Jesus healed them. And they saw this miracle happened. But when we talk about it in chapter 11 with Lazarus dying, verse 4 tells us that Jesus went away from Lazarus and was preaching. And a message was sent to him saying about Lazarus was sick. And the sister sent a message to Jesus asking him, your dear friend is very sick. But they wanted him to come quickly. But Jesus knew what the end was going to be anyway. And verse 4 tells us, when Jesus heard about it, he said, Lazarus' sickness will not end in death. No, it happened for the glory of God, so that the Son of God would receive glory from this. So Jesus continued to preach where he was. He didn't come back until a few days later. And even then, Jesus knew what was already happened and was happening or was going to be. And we move on to verse 21, when Martha said to Jesus after he passed away, and Jesus came, Lord, if you only had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now, I know that God will give you whatever you ask. Jesus told her, your brother will rise again. But Martha, yes, Martha, he will rise again when everyone else rises on the last day. But then Jesus told her, I am the resurrection and the life. Anyone who believes in me will live even after dying. Everyone who lives in me and believes in me will never ever die. Do you believe this, Martha? Yes, Lord, she told him. I have always believed you are the Messiah. But even then, there's probably a hint of little doubt in her that Jesus never come back to raise Lazarus from the death. But when we read on to the verse 40, Jesus responded when he got to Lazarus' grave, didn't I tell you that you will see God's glory if you believe? They rolled the stone aside. And Jesus prayed, saying, Father, thank you for hearing me. You always hear me, but I say it out aloud for the sake of all these people standing here, so they will believe you sent me. And then Jesus shouted, Lazarus, come out. And the dead man came out, his hands and feet bound in grave clothes, his face wrapped in a headcloth. Jesus told them, unwrap him and let him go. And that, again, like verse 40, did not tell you that you will see God's glory if you believe? And this is the same Jesus who is still healing the sick, still performing miracles through the Holy Spirit, through him and through God, because all the Holy Trinity is with us. God is always with us. Jesus is always with us. The Holy Spirit is always with you. Again, do you believe? Do you believe God can move that mountain? Do you believe that God will be able to save that child of yours, that runaway? Do you believe God can heal your marriage? Do you believe God can change your situation around when you're being bullied from work or amongst your colleagues? Do you believe?